Jim Jones recruited his followers with the same love Kai claims to have. Kai and Jim Jones share some significant similarities, the main one being the way in which they make their followers feel important and valued. Jones had the unique talent of making everyone feel special in some way. He could make everyone feel as if he or she was the guest of the day. Similarly, Jones knew how to keep his followers separated from those who would try to convince them to see reason. Peters will play Jones at some point in the season, and it will be interesting to note which of Jonesy's infamous cult leader traits and offenses will be depicted on the show.
David Koresh knew how to manipulate the bottleneck of political bureaucracy.
David Koresh was another cult leader name-dropped in Sally Kefler's Mayor Winningham monologue. Koresh was the head of the Branch Davidian cult, an offshoot of the Davidian Seventh-day Adventist Church that first formed in the 1960s. This group occupied a piece of land just outside Waco, Texas, and spent their days waiting around for Jesus' return. David Koresh convinced his cult he was the Messiah even while embroiled in scandals about relations with children, while having a harem of wives, while in possession of unauthorized firearms, and while accused of drug manufacturing. The government caught up with the cult and raided the Waco compound. What followed was a 51-day standoff between the Branch Davidians and the authorities that resulted in the demises of roughly 80 people. Kefler mentions the Waco incident and politician Janet Reno's involvement in it. The line between politicians and cult leaders is a fine one. Whether Kai and his cult will meet such a bloody end remains to be seen, and Peters will play Koresh in an upcoming episode flashback, but Koresh's history clearly has influenced the show.
Meadow's assassination attempt mirrors the one that made Andy Warhol even more famous.
In 1968, feminist writer ValerieSolanas shot Andy Warhol. The bullet hit Warhol in the abdomen and he survived. Lena Dunham plays Solanas in a flashback on the show. Is Ryan Murphy drawing parallels between what happened to Warhol and Kai being shot by Meadow in Midwestern Assassin? Meadow didn't eliminate Kai, she hit him in the leg before turning the gun on herself. It stands to reason that Murphy is pointing out how history has proven that a manic follower can be pushed to breaking point when they feel rejected by their group cult, and also emphasizes where Kai learned the easiest way to rise to the top of people's radar. Nothing gets attention and sympathy like an infamous attempt on someone's life.
Andy Warhol invented the cult of celebrity.
Andy Warhol is definitely not in the same league as Charles Manson or Jim Jones, but Evan Peters plays him in the Lena Dunham starring episode ValerieSolanas Died for Your Sins Scumbag. Andy Warhol is associated with the term cult of celebrity, which isn't exactly like other cults represented on the show, but is a concept that perfectly encapsulates the way people gravitate toward people of supposed influence. Kai understands this group thing all too well. If politics wasn't the most newsworthy way to get attention in modern society, he probably would have gone into modeling or acting or some other form of celebrity. Warhol set up the factory in New York in the 1960s. It was a haven for artists and creative types, and Warhol had something of an untouchable figurehead type of vibe. Warhol is a perfect example of where clique and cult meet. How cool inclusion feels. His group's artistic focus also mirrors the creative core and methods used by the nefarious clown cult, costumes and all. Charles Manson invented the cult of personality, and Kai is following right in his footsteps. Most cults promise better lives, one of his driving tactics. The Manson family girls dressed much like Witter does.
Hey guys, thank you so much for the support and likes and comments down below, and also thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to see you in the next video. Then take care. Bye.
To understand how this can be done, let's first recall how